All right. So hi, everyone. Thank you for joining our webinar today, and I hope your summer is going well so far. First, let me introduce you to Dave Leone, Perception Point's Senior Customer Success Manager, and Karen Rogachevsky, Perception Point's Senior Product Marketing Manager. Dave is a Senior Customer Success Manager here at Perception Point and brings with him a range of experience, having worked as a CSM solutions engineer and systems engineer for a number of global organizations. He enjoys the satisfaction of helping organizations achieve their goals by providing simplified solutions to complex problems. Dave has a prowess for translating the technical world into something that is easily digestible for almost any audience. Ken is Perception Point's product marketing lead, responsible for all product marketing initiatives, including market and competitor research, go-to-market planning, messaging, and positioning, and more. She brings over 15 years of experience in market-facing and customer-facing roles in B2B startups and large tech corporations, spanning different industries, including cyber, automotive, and others. I'm Talia Mizrahi, Perception Point's Marcom Manager, and I will be your moderator today. First, a few housekeeping items before we begin. It's important to note that this webinar is being recorded and that the recording will be made available to you at the end of the webinar. Have any questions throughout the duration of the webinar? Awesome. We actively encourage discussion throughout the webinar. Please check the bottom of your screen. There's a button for Q&A, and you can enter your questions there, and we will do our best to answer them at the end of the webinar. If we don't, we will have someone follow up with you afterwards. In today's webinar, we'll be talking all about protecting Salesforce. Salesforce, as you know, is a very important tool that organizations rely on to manage their relationships with customers and partners. However, as different kinds of content is uploaded into Salesforce on an ongoing basis, it can become the perfect vector for a cyber attack. Therefore, organizations who heavily rely on Salesforce need to look into securing it. Okay, without further ado, I am passing it on to you, Karen. Oh, it looks like we skipped some slides here. Okay.
Okay. Hi, everyone. So before we dive into Salesforce security, let me briefly introduce Perception Point. Perception Point protects against all attacks coming in through different cloud channels. And we do so by providing a managed service that supports a complete cycle from isolation of the end user from the outside world to detection of malicious content coming into the organization and completing this prevention and protection cycle with a remediation and incident response service that helps alleviate pressure from SOC teams, significantly saving their time and simplifying processes for them. Okay, so Perception Point protects different attack vectors from cloud email to cloud collaboration apps, including cloud storage, cloud communication applications, and of course, CRM applications, as we'll be discussing today. We're also protecting proprietary applications, so any in-house built collaboration app, we easily connect and scan all content coming into it. And actually, as of last week, we've launched a web security, advanced browser security solution protecting Chrome and Edge. Okay, so Perception Point solutions are all based on our patented detection platform that has revolutionized the way that sandboxing is done. It scans all content coming in using data coming from the CPU with unparalleled detection rates and speed with an average of 10 seconds in average, 10 seconds in average for content scan. The platform utilizes 7 layers of protection that include various algorithms such as machine learning, AI, and many others. Perception Point has been rated #1 twice in a row in independent email security services testing done by SA Labs. And without further ado, let's dive into Salesforce security. So Salesforce is the #1 CRM application used by over 150,000 companies worldwide. And actually the trend of exposing Salesforce externally to third parties in order to support different processes in the organization has accelerated by COVID-19. And a lot of organizations have developed different processes that allow customers, partners, suppliers to easily interact with them through Salesforce. So what are the different modules in Salesforce that allow this external interaction? The first module is Chatter. Chatter is a Salesforce chat application that can also be exposed externally to external parties and allows, of course, exchange of different information, including files and URLs and so on. Email to case is another functionality that basically allows configuring a specific email address that any email that gets into this email address populates Salesforce and opens up a case in Salesforce with all the information that was inside the email. Web to case is basically the ability to create any type of landing page that can be in the organization's company website or anywhere else, any landing page, that when the information is submitted to this form, it goes directly into Salesforce. Another option is this third-party web integrations with different systems that basically interaction with those systems creates an automatically populates the information in Salesforce, whether creating a case or anything else. And of course, there are other third-party system integrations that basically using REST APIs, you're able to connect your Salesforce with any other system that can also be an external system that feeds information into Salesforce. And just to illustrate, here are some selected use cases. So for example, a customer could be communicating with your organization through WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger, and that information goes into a gateway and then populated into a customer case in Salesforce automatically. Of course, any information that is exchanged is in this correspondence automatically goes in as well. The other option is a supplier or any third party, for that matter, filling up a web form that was created on top of Salesforce, and the information goes into Salesforce directly. And the last option is basically to send out an email that anyone that has that specific email address that was configured, the information from that email just goes into Salesforce and creates a case. Okay, so basically we've talked about the models and we've discussed the use cases, and it's very clear that it's very easy to populate external information from third parties into Salesforce. And while this is really helping the organization simplify different processes and support different processes, without adding the proper protection, there is a risk for malicious content infiltrating the organization, which can obviously cause damage from you know, small phishing attacks to more severe attacks like ransomware, data theft, reputational damages, and so on. Out of the box, Salesforce doesn't scan any of the content that is coming in for malicious threats. And although Salesforce does have a security add-on, Salesforce Shield, it is more targeted to compliance with the features like monitoring and encryption, and it doesn't include scanning of content that is uploaded into Salesforce. So what are the options to protect the organization and to scan information coming into Salesforce? The first option, basically the first category of add-ons, is antivirus scanning. Antivirus scanning applications perform static scanning, utilize threat intelligence to detect attacks that were already seen. And basically, they protect against simple attacks, attacks that are known, that have previously been seen. And this is the first category. The second category is advanced threat protection. Advanced threat protection applications don't just settle for static scanning and threat intelligence. They also detonate and dynamically scan all the content in a sandbox. And they also use advanced detection techniques and different anti-evasion engines to basically protect against any type of attack, whether it is simple or complex, known or never seen before. And I want to finish this slide by asking the question: if you would protect your organization's email system with an antivirus scanning. And with today's threat landscape, it is evident that antivirus scanning is not enough to protect your email system. And essentially, content going into Salesforce instantly reaching your organization is not any different from email. So I guess this is kind of like a rhetorical question. And now I'm introducing Perception Point Salesforce Security. So Perception Point has pre-integrated with Salesforce, and the solution protects from any type of content-borne attack, from everyday attacks to advanced attacks such as 0 days, advanced persistent threats, and more. Basically, the solution, the end user interacts with Salesforce regularly, the same processes, with having the information sent in the background files and URLs to Perception Point. Perception Point scans, immediately receives the content, scans it, and in the case of malicious content, it is quarantined within Perception Point and removed from Salesforce. All the content is recursively and dynamically scanned, 100% of the content, any level deep. So if there's any files or URLs buried several levels deep inside the content, we unpack everything and we scan everything dynamically. And we do that both on Windows and Mac to avoid anti-evasion techniques that are specific to an operating system. The solution meets strict privacy and compliance standards such as SOC 2, of course, GDPR and others. And it was rigorously tested against Salesforce security processes during the process of basically partnering with them and getting our application up on the App Exchange. Talia, handing it back to you.
Okay. So I would love to do a quick poll and see what you guys think. So I'm going to launch it now and give you a few minutes to answer. Give you another 30 seconds. So submit your answers. Maybe we'll send you cookies if you participate. Okay. I'm going to share the results. Okay, so out of the 7, I don't know where the rest of you are, maybe you're asleep, who participated, 29% said yes, they have a plan to implement a security solution for Salesforce within the next 12 months, while 71% are not sure. We have a bunch of you using Salesforce in different use cases, which exposes them externally. With the biggest being, we use email to case to create cases directly in Salesforce. And 71% of the people who answered this poll are using Salesforce native security. All right, so I am going to stop sharing and pass this on to Dave, who will show you how it actually works.
Sure, thanks, Ty. So just taking a look here at the Salesforce test environment. So when integrating it with Salesforce, it's the Perception Point app is right on the App Store, so you can navigate right to the App Store and find it here. You can install the app, and we will provide you with a token to authorize it once you're officially onboarded. It looks something like this. So here's where you can add in the token that's provided in the email of the administrator. From the screen, you can also see items that were scanned. So if you want a quick look down at what came through, you can see that I used the same 2 files for all my demoing. So you'll see the same 2 files in a minute here, but I have a malicious Excel file, and then I have a clean Word document that just says hello inside of it. And you can see those items were scanned here. So as we mentioned earlier, most people are leveraging email to case. So if we have an open case here, we can hop into this. Definitely not a cyber attack case. Now, I can directly upload attachments. Doesn't really matter how the attachments get in. They all kind of go to the same place in Salesforce. So in the interest of time, I uploaded them a little bit earlier while Karen was talking, and you can see here that I've uploaded Dangerous Excel, which has a virus inside of it, and then the clean document as well. When we jump into the Perception Point platform, this is the Insights dashboard. This is what you would see depending on which channels you have. For right now, this is a test environment specifically designed for Salesforce, so there's not a ton of stuff here. But you can see that I am the top attacking sender. I upload a lot of viruses in here. And then if we jump into the scans menu, we'll see what processed here today. So today you can see that within about a minute and a half, the 2 files were both scanned and showed up inside here. We can see one was marked as clean, the other was marked as malicious. And if we dive inside, we'll get a bunch of information as to the analysis of the file and why it was marked as malicious. I do apologize for my internet today. But you can see inside that we scanned the Excel. We have a whole host of evidence listed here at the top as to why it was scanned. It was found inside of the ESET antivirus database, as well as we found it inside of our HAP cache where we scanned it with the HAP analysis here. And you can see the scan process. We could see the macro that actually orchestrated everything. I have another example here as well of diving into a similar email where we pull out the assembly snippet, so we could see where in the actual processor instructions the file was doing something it should not have. Particularly, we're looking for things that are exploiting, for example, memory corruption, anything that's doing code injection, any type of non-standard launch process for example, an Excel file. If we scroll down, you can see the scan process and how everything is launching in the attack. If there are files written, dropped, read, created, deleted, same thing for the registry, anything that was written or deleted. Had this had a networking component, you would see that as well. So for example, you'd see curl commands that were issued in IPs, as well as, again, the macro analysis that we see here. Now, if we go back into Salesforce and I give this a refresh, you'll see that the malicious content was removed from the Salesforce environment, and then we're left with just the clean document. So it's as simple as that. All you have to do is turn it on, and the system will automatically pull once there's an event that a file was uploaded or modified. It will scan it, and anything that is marked as malicious will be removed from the system. Anything that is clean will remain inside, and then everything is available for viewing inside the X-Ray platform. If you do have a file that you're concerned was maybe a false positive, you'd like it returned, you can simply mark it as clean inside the X-Ray platform, and the file will return to Salesforce. And with that, I give it back to Karen.
Okay. So before we open it up to the Q&A, let me summarize. So basically, we highly recommend you to protect your Salesforce if you are exposing it, especially if you're exposing it externally to external third party. And use an advanced threat protection application to scan all files and URLs. Perception Point's Salesforce Security add-on provides 99.95% detection rates and scans 100% of the traffic going into Salesforce dynamically, near real time, in an average of 10 seconds per scan, and not interfering in Salesforce usage flows, and deployed within a few minutes. The service also includes 24/7 integrated incident response that can save SOC teams up to 75% of resources in managing the solution. All right, Talia, handing it off to you for the Q&A.
Yeah, so if you have any questions, now is the time to start submitting them. Okay, it looks like we have one question. Why did you develop the Salesforce integration? Was it based on threats that you have seen in the wild? Dave, maybe you can help answer this one.
Sure. Yeah. So I actually asked the same question when the development team told me that they developed it. Turns out that there are attacks coming in. For example, with email to case, everyone has a BCC address that's created so that when you respond to it, it goes both into Salesforce via the BCC address, and then it also goes into your personal email. Attackers, if they discover the BCC address from other compromised accounts or however they can grab that account, they can just open up an email in the case by sending an email from outside inside. This allowed for attackers to send an attachment, and in a recent POC with a customer I had, they were POCing because they actually got a ransomware attack successfully entering their environment and locked down a bunch of stuff right through an email case that was created from an external sender. So that's definitely an area of concern. And with everybody working remotely, a lot of people are doing a lot through Salesforce. So attackers are also recognizing this, and of course, they're attacking that accordingly.
Okay. On that note, another question that was asked was, can you describe a real-life use case protecting a customer Salesforce through this integration? Karen, maybe you can answer this one.
Sure. So one of the perception points customers protecting Salesforce is a university, private nonprofit university that utilizes Salesforce for an admission process through Salesforce Experience Cloud. So basically they have 2 admission cycles a year, and all the applications are coming in through Salesforce. And the university had 2 targets. First of all, protecting their educational and administrative systems from external threat. And the other one was, of course, to maintain the data integrity of the applicants. They were familiar with email security risks and wanted to protect information coming into Salesforce in the same manner that they're protecting their email. After doing their due diligence between different solutions, they decided to start a POC with Perception Point. And after a 3-month POC, they fully deployed Perception Point's Salesforce solution, and we're protecting their Salesforce.
Okay. Another question that we have here is, do you support other CRMs besides Salesforce? Karen, I think this one's for you as well.
Sure. So except for Salesforce, Perception Point will soon be launching Zendesk solution. And we are constantly adding new channels to our solution portfolio. And on that note, although not a CRM, but also we'll soon be launching Slack solution.
Very cool. Okay, I think we have time for one more question. Dave, I think this one's for you. How long does it take to deploy, and what's involved in the deployment?
So what I showed earlier is pretty much all that's really involved. It's downloading the app. Once you complete your contract information, we send you the token over, and you just paste that in and hit save, and it's live.
Sounds simple enough. All right, I wanted to thank, first of all, our guests for joining us today. And as well as Karen and Dave for this really great presentation. If you have any questions about Perception Point, about our integration with Salesforce, do not hesitate to contact us. You can find our information online, and you will also be getting a recording of this webinar. So you can reach out to us at any time. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you have a great rest of your day and a great rest of your summer. All right, see you later.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.